Hi, I'm Type. Before we start the video, make sure you like and subscribe with notifications on. Welcome to IMDbad, where we look at negative reviews for popular movies. Today we're going to look at negative reviews for SHAZAM. Let us begin. The worst superhero movie of all time. The idea of the film is essentially copied, plagiarized from Tom Hanks's 1988 hit Big, but is much worse in every possible way. The visual effects are cheap and lousy. Levi's performance is a disaster. The tones of the young Billy and the grown-up Billy are not consistent. The build-up is too long, and the plot lacks credibility. The result is a mindless comedy that is neither funny nor with heart. Complete waste of money and time. Utter garbage. Worst DC movie to date, and there are a lot of them. I don't understand the high ratings. Are they all being paid to say it was awesome? Because it was a joke. This looked and felt like a movie that would go star to DVD. Or be better on Nickelodeon. The jokes were rusty and poorly delivered. The storyline was weak, and the CGI looked introductory level. We would have walked out, but it was a free screening for audience feedback, and some of the producers were there in the back prepared to hand our forms on what we thought. My girlfriend and I were honest and said, reshoots are necessary or this film is doomed. Guess we were of the minority. Because now that it's out, somehow it's doing well at the box office. Blows my mind. Rotten Tomatoes has this any higher than a 40%. And they have it at a 93%. I'm convinced they're being paid. No doubt about it. Almost walked out of the cinema. Waste of time. First time I'm rating a movie with 1 star. Guess I had high expectation for this movie and really wanted to enjoy it but couldn't. I find it a bit annoying. Maybe the kids could love this but not for adults. In my opinion, this is the worst DC movie and could not understand the 10-star ratings. First time, I wanted to walk out of the theater as it felt this is such a waste of time. Aquaman and the rest of the DC movies are 10 times better. I still can't believe it. It's been a very long time since I wanted to walk out of the cinema mid-movie. This film felt like an utter waste of time. It was boring, borderline offensive with the way they portrayed some characters, idiotically simplistic with the plot. Those conclusions the characters got from basically no information is like WTF. And just all in all a terrible movie. It could have been so good and funny, but all the good parts were put into the trailer, with the rest of the movie dragging on forever. The number of board size and flashes of phones when people kept checking their phone was more entertaining than anything on the screen. I wish I could have my money and time back. This movie is terrible. Remember Subtly? This film surely doesn't. Another script that was simplified for overseas viewing, and had to explain every joke and every moral message. In Big, Tom Hanks was a kid trying to be an adult. Zachary Levi chose to be an adult acting like a kid. That choice took all the heart out of SHAZAM. Watching this film was like watching Jimmy Fallon's skits in which he attempts to be a superhero over and over again. Also, Corey Haim's performance in Dream a Little Dream seems to have been ripped off and poorly copied. Nothing original, just a film made to make money. It's like Deadpool and Superman and Big all wrapped up into one. Except, bad. Really bad. Low budget, easily forgotten garbage. I wasted money seeing this garbage on opening night, and all I can do is laugh. Because this movie literally did everything that DC fanboys criticize the MCU films for doing, including using the Marvel formula that they all claim to hate. We should have known when they decided to drop The Rock as Black Adam that the studio clearly didn't want to give this movie enough money to be done well, and in the end, it shows in the quality of movie we got. The effects for the movie look lower quality than what Prime has for The Tick, which is saying a lot. The move was so awful that the second it ended, I flew out of that theater without even bothering to stay to see if there was a post-credit scene, and I got immediately into the line of people who were demanding their money back. Luckily, the theater was understanding of how awful the movie was, because they didn't argue with any of us and just refunded our money. Don't bother. How this got an 8 rating is beyond me. It's marketed as a superhero spoof, and instead DC sits us through an excruciatingly boring movie full of missed opportunities. SHAZAM, a 14-year-old boy in a superhero body, was poorly scripted, and it was here all the opportunity was missed. Maybe 12-year-olds will like it, but as far as producing a great spoof, DC again didn't just served up a forgettable flick, they've dished up a movie to avoid at all costs. To top it off, it was at least 30 minutes too long. This is not Captain Marvel, this is a Tom Hanks cover band. As a lifelong fan of the original Captain Marvel, I was very disappointed in this movie. Instead of basing it on the Golden Age Fawcett comics, and the epic contemporary material by artist Alex Ross, it was based on Jeff Johns' misfire reboot. The end result is part big and part superhero movie with a dose of ABC After School special. David Sandberg's direction is schizophrenic with a very pedestrian tone and very bad CGI. Zachary Levi is spastic, guilty of overacting, and incapable of handling the few serious scenes. Mark Strong is miscast as Dr. Shyvana, giving a dull performance to a character that is watered down into a generic magic-based bad guy. The only bright spots are Asher Angel and Jack Dylan Grazer, who both give great performances with the material they are given. Skip this one, especially if you expect a Golden Age Captain Marvel movie. Absolute rubbish. What have they done to Captain Marvel? He is not a fun character, he fights crime, but they made him look like a buffoon. Elle didn't even stay till the end. Very disappointed. My advice is watch the 1941 serial The Adventures of Captain Marvel with Tom Tyler as Captain Marvel and Frank Coughlin Jr. as Billy Batson. It had everything: a terrific villain called the Scorpion, dressed from head to toe in a black mask and coat covered in white scorpions. The storyline was excellent, better than this rubbish Elle have just tried to watch. Elle would hasten to add that Elle was not alive in 1941, but Elle collect old Saturday Kids matinee serials, and AOCM was one of the best. Special effects were by brothers Howard and Theodore Lydecker, superior in every way. Don't listen to the shills. This is garbage with a few one-liners. I don't know if the other reviewers saw the same movie I did. Feels to me like DC paid a bunch of folks to give them 10/10 before any real reviews would have a chance to show up. This is a film for brain-dead America. It has no nuance, no jokes or plot lines that aren't explicitly explained, some multiple times, no genuine heart or even a single fully developed character. Everyone fits into their modern superhero film archetype. References are made to hip memes and being woke. Brief but unmissable nods are made to the ideologically possessed social justice crowd. Watch this after watching any serious superhero movie from decades prior, even the not-so-great ones, and it becomes apparent how far we've fallen. This is a bastardization of the genre, but sadly seems like it's here to stay. Let's just be honest. I am a DC fan. I go see all the movies, then buy the Blu-rays. I have character statues, posters, and have read the comics including SHAZAM. There is a reason people become fans of certain things, and those things done well over time generate more fans until it becomes a juggernaut like DC has. I fear that it's not unstoppable, however, as the subpar SHAZAM has painfully illustrated. The movie is a pastiche of poorly written scenes with a bit of uninspired action sprinkled here and there with barely any plot at all. Billy has no character development whatsoever, no adversity to overcome and no villain to fight. I know there are people saying they like this movie, but I feel like they either aren't being honest or they like it for personal reasons that are not present in the movie. Objectively speaking, in terms of the technical aspects of storytelling, SHAZAM just isn't effective. Subjectively, I was bored the entire time and the comedy parts made me feel as though J.J. Abrams was poking me in the ribs asking me if I remember the 40s. Yes. Yes I do. And for the record, people are criticizing this movie because it was bad, not because they hit the moles. Dismissing legitimate criticisms using this tactic will not produce better films, which is the only thing most people want. The problem is that they built the movie around the idea of Strong Boy and promoted it as an identity film, so when the movie ends up being bad some people rush to defend it because they don't want the idea to fail. The movie itself is secondary, just a vehicle to slap their bumper stickers on, which is a real shame because this could have been a great addition to the DC universe. I hope they learn something from this. But from what I've heard it appears that DC actually plans to escalate the identity politics in the next phase, which would be an absolute disaster for them. When pointing to the box office as a defense for how good SHAZAM was, just remember that tons of paying customers didn't like it at all.